Hello, Malban here, and this is going to be for some time probably the last PiTrex video I'm doing, because most of the stuff I wanted to do I have done for now. I haven't touched any arcade emulators, but I wanted to get the vectrex emulation to a state where I'm content, and I think I am right now. I know I said last times everything seems perfect and so on, but as it turned out, it wasn't so perfect. There are a couple of glitches other people were experiencing, but I think I got them under control now. And I'm just wanted to show you the state I'm in now. And yes, all files I'm showing you, I'm going to show you all the source code, and the development environment is downloadable in my page. The SD card is downloadable as a zip file with single files on it, so you just can copy the files, or as an image file of a zip file, so you can produce an image file. And the source code is available. I haven't made up a new GitHub directory yet. For now, this is only a zip file containing all the sources. The official PiTrex GitHub is set up by Graham Toll, and I didn't want to set up a concurrent GitHub. And also I'm concentrating on bare metal. In some of my sources I've removed all references to non-bare metal, to Raspbian OS, so they are not really all that 100% compatible anymore. The code itself really is, but all these if-defs, I couldn't see them anymore. I removed them wherever I saw them, so it's not really that compatible anymore. Yes, it looks for the viewer probably nearly the same, because my vectrex, or I should better say my PiTrex, worked really well. But as it turned out, I optimized on one occasion too much, and that caused flicker on other PiTrexes. This does not mean that any PiTrexes are better or worse. They're just different as vectrex are different. So it seems, at least at a very low level, concerning single nanoseconds. But when I inserted the too much optimized line of code again, there doesn't seem to be any flicker. I don't know if you've seen it. You're watching the PiTrex right now. There wasn't a single flicker yet, and I don't think there will be. So anyway, starting, you know, this is my new menu system. It doesn't appear to have changed. There's still the music somewhere going on. I still have the 4 different categories. This is everything vectrex stuff, everything arcade stuff. Then the movies, I'm not going... anyway, and the audio stuff. The audio stuff really hasn't changed, so I'm not going to show that another time. The menu system I changed a little bit, so this is mainly what is from a user point of view visible, apart from the thing that everything should now work. I haven't heard a single comment as of yet that it does not work. So vectrex, at first I put my Vector Blade because, well, that's the most recent game of mine. The menu entries now feature some more stuff. They feature, you can have an icon, or, well, icon is a large icon. As you can see, this is a Vector Blade ship. You can have text. You do not have to have an icon, but you can. And you even can have a scroll text down at the bottom. Yeah, this is my first entry for the vectrex Vector Blade. The second entry is Speedy Vectrex. Speedy Vectrex, I said before, this is an emulation mode that is faster than the real vectrex, and therefore many games, or perhaps not many, but some games can display better than on the original vectrex. I find that really cool. Not from the original games, I sorted out, I think, 6 different games that really look better that way. So this is a plus, as you might see. if you play them from the PiTrex. I can show you. Now you have got another menu level. If you go down, these are all the speedy entries. This is Web Wars, this is Berserk, Mindstorm, Dark Tower, Star Castle, Fortress of Nazoth, Scramble, and Solar Quest. All these titles look really well with a faster emulation, because the screen gets updated more frequently, it doesn't flicker so much, and it's overall much more playable. You can see that fairly well if you play Berserk. I think Berserk starts to flicker if there are more than 3 robots. With this version, it starts to flicker if there are 8 robots, I think. So this is quite a noticeable difference. Mindstorm, it doesn't show on camera. This is the reason I'm not starting it. Mindstorm, as you can recall, if you start up the game and the mines are spread out over the screen, these little dots, then the screen starts to shake. This doesn't do that. It's not the only difference, but this is the most noticeable, and it's the most frequently occurring disturbance, so to say. Dark Tower is overall much better playable. Star Castle, Fortress of Nazoth is very well playable. Scramble is a lot more difficult because it's quite a lot faster. It's funny, but it's not flickering at all, and it's displaying in 50 Hertz, and the game speed is always in relation to the vectrex round, and now the vectrex round is 1/50th of a second. I don't know what it's normally, but it's probably 1/40th of a second or something like that. It's noticeably faster, and better displayed. I really dig Web Wars in this version. It's really a lot faster, it does not flicker, and it's, in my opinion, much more playable than the original version. I think I showed you that before, therefore it will be nothing new. I won't show you that again. Then the next menu entry now is a exact vectrex. This is an emulation mode that is, well, I said it before, but I dare say it again, 99% perfect. I haven't found any ROM, cartridge or game or demo or whatsoever that does not display correct with this version. It's well, I'm actually astonished myself how well this emulation works. It's fantastic. Well, first one is Karl Quappe. I put on here. I haven't enabled persistency yet because I do not emulate the DS2431 chip here. It's only a copy and paste from VDay because there I emulated already, but I haven't done that yet, and it's on my to-do list, but it's pretty far down. Same goes for release. It works very well, but there's no persistency yet. You can see I did a little scroll text here too. Next one is just for trying out. Mr. Boston works perfectly. And then I got this mode, pick a game. There's a directory on the PiTrex called vectrex, and all binary files within that directory are displayed here, and you can choose from them. I haven't put on all binary files in here. If you want to do that, you can do that the same. Everything you put in the directory, well, will be displayed here as long as it's a .bin file. It will be displayed here. And then you can choose it and start it from here. For this special mode, as you can see, I haven't put in a upper level. You cannot go up from here because you use the joystick to go up and down in the selection screen. So you have to go left and then you can go up again. And the last vectrex section I've called demos. I've just played around with it a little bit. I put on 5 or 6 demos I found, I think, and well, it's a raiding party from Föll, Boresenham from Nuance and Metallforze, and Epic Real Time the same, and Where Have All the Pigs Gone. There are many more demos, but I haven't downloaded them all and put on here. So yes, this was the Vectrex. Then the arcade stayed the same. Only Tailgunner has got an icon, if you want to call it that. The other ones haven't. Asteroids still working. Battlezone, Red Baron still not enabled the ROM here. The movies, I provided icons for these as well. This is Bad Apple. It looks exactly the same as before. It's not better, but it's with the icons, and I really dig the icons, so you have to watch them if you watch this video. Then the blah blah video, so you at least know what it is. La Linea and Bad Apple in German. Yes, this is all that is new. I'm not going to show you the emulation because it looks equally good on my vectrex as before, but well, I don't know if you have to believe me, but as I said, some other people have tested it with their PiTrex. I think probably 5, 6, 7 PiTrexes have tested this version, and it actually plays okay. There are a couple of new features that I haven't shown. Oh well, no, certainly I haven't shown you yet. One is if you can start a game now with button 4 or with button 1. If you start with button 4, which I did just now, then the game starts as normal. Just play a few seconds here. And nearly all games, except Karl Quapper again, you can exit now really with the 4 buttons. I'll do that now. Go back to the menu. And each time you leave a game with these 4 buttons, it saves the state of the games. So if I press now button 1, it does not start the game from the start, but it loads the state file and you start from where you left off. Usually this in Vectorblade is a pause mode because one of the buttons is pause and Vectorblade jumps to pause. So you continue from where you left. This is different from the save file within Vectorblade. You have to, believe me at this stage. I don't know if I can show you that, but I'm trying on vectrex exact. It probably, damn. Okay. Another thing, do you have to believe me? In this directory, I haven't put the original files yet. So Artmaster, Melody Master, and Co. Do not appear here, so I cannot pick them. But the light pan is working okay. I added extended RAM emulation for Animaction, if you want to call it that. I just enabled ROM write, but it works. So you can start Animaction and use the light pan, and it works perfectly. And just for example, if you then exit Animaction with the 4 button press, you can return later, load the state with button 1, and then continue where you left off. So you can actually save the state. The states are saved on the Pi, on the SD card in a directory called states, with the name of the actual binary that you started. So if you want to save your Animaction, you have to copy that state as of now, but I'm sure if that is something people want, I can figure out a way to save more states for a single game and load them. But I haven't done that yet. But the technique is working, so one can do that. The only thing as of now, each time you press the 4 buttons to return to the menu, the state is saved, so you can easily override the state. Yes, I'm going to switch now to the terminal screen and show you another thing in the directory of the bare metal card. Just a sec. Okay, I'm back now. As you can see, I'm in the terminal program. I'm starting the PiTrex right now. And you will see as it connects to the PiTrex. And here in the background. No, you don't. I have to connect. Then you can see it. Well, doesn't matter. I think we are connected now. Yes. On the vectrex, I'm now in the menu, and you can see there's a protocol going on here, and so on. What I wanted to show you is this is nothing new, but bear with me. If you press H for help, you will get different commands here, and most of these commands have to do with settings of the PiTrex, or more precise, the vectrex library on the PiTrex. So you can set things like maximum strength to use, cranky value, refresh rate, and so on. And before, you couldn't set all these things, or you could set most of these things only with this terminal program. And this is what changed in my program. Right now, you can also set these settings from an ini file. There can be more than one ini file. Right now the important one is the vectrex interface ini, and if you open that, then you can see this is a typical Windows ini file, or I don't know what else uses these ini files. It can have sections. I skipped the section stuff for the vectrex interface. And it's always a key value pair, more or less. These are the names, and this is the value. And the values are the same as you can see here. Delay 0 value, we have that here somewhere. Set delay 0 is here. Then you have the cranky flag. The cranky flag is also here. These are exactly the same values. And the descriptions match each other. You can have comments in these ini files with a colon, semicolon. It's in German. Is it semicolon? I don't know what it's in English. Is it called different? I don't know. Anyway, these are all the values that you can play with if your interface doesn't show correctly, or has some stuff crooked, or lines are wrong, or it's flickering, or lines are not closed. Then you can alter these settings. These are more or less vectrex dependent, not PiTrex dependent. Yes, this is one thing. I'm not going into all these values. This is too much for now, but anyway. Then you can have, you still have the old settings files on the PiTrex. These go into the settings directory. These are still loaded and also saved from the PiTrex. But if an ini file is available, the ini file will always overrule these settings. So yeah, if you delete the ini file, you go, so to say, back to the settings. But if there's an ini file, or the ini file will always take precedence. Then the vectrex emulator also has an ini file. This is this one here. And this ini file also features sections. As you can see down here, there's a very small section, vectrex exact. And here you can configure which BIOS, for example, the vectrex will load. Here it's 7ADB. This is a CRC value of the vectrex file, of the BIOS file, and also this is a value for the cycle equivalency. This is the only thing I can think of that might possibly be different between different PiTrexes, but I'm not sure. Anyway, these ini files are loaded in sequence, so if, or are handled in sequence. If such a vectrex ini file, or later an asteroids ini file, or whatever ini file is loaded, the handler which scans these entries is always executed in cascading order. First, the overall ini handler is called. As you can see, all these things here are the same as the ones in the vectrex interface ini. These again overrule the values that were found in the vectrex interface. So for each game you can actually set different values if need be. I'm not really sure why that should be, but you can if you want. The only thing I can think of is if there is a vectrex game which you want to play horizontally, then you can somewhere there's an orientation. Here you can change the orientation if you have one game that you want to play sideways and one way you want to play up or something like that. But usually these settings are global, so you don't need them. But as an example, I've left them in here. Yeah, these are the ini files. Then the directory structure changed slightly, as I said before. The ini files are expected, as of now, to be in the uppermost directory on the bare metal card. These ini directory is for Graham's Cinematronics emulators. These settings are the old settings which I just talked about. These states, these are the states I mentioned before. The vectrex emulator, if you exit it with 4 button press, then it saves the state of the current vectrex emulator. Yeah. So yeah. And they are the ROMs for the arcade emulators. These did not change. And then the vectrex directory existed before, but now I've have put in some subdirectories. In the uppermost directory is a one that can be displayed with a menu system, as you've seen before. As it displays only .bin files, I renamed some of my files to, well, bin reverse, nib files. I think nib files are probably some emulator files for C64. It's probably a nibble disk or something like that. Don't know, this is a small disk icon here. Anyway, this was my trick, not to display these files. It's nothing, yes, very sophisticated. These VB files is actually the Vector Blade High Score and the Vector Blade Game Save. So these files are also saved to the disk, and these are the in-game files, not from the emulator itself. Then I've got a directory originals. These are all the original files from GCE. Then I've got the BIOS directory, only 4 files actually. These are 3 different BIOSes that existed from Milton Bradley or GCE, and one fast boot ROM image. But I think this one here is actually nearly nearly the same features. You can press a button here to disrupt the boot sequence. So yeah, these are the demos that are shown within the menu. These are the movie files shown in the menu, and these are the audio files shown in the menu. Yes, I just want to show you this structure change and the ini files. I think I'm done now with this video. I hope you can try these things out and play with it, and perhaps even program a bit with the PiTrex. I hope you have fun. I'm finished for now. Goodbye.